Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a Bo, and I wanted to talk about Black people and their relationship with femininity and luxury, or rather, is Black women and their relationship with femininity and luxury. You know what? I should probably just bring up that thumbnail, huh? Let's go ahead. Let's bring up that thumbnail real quick and so that we are working from the same situation. Make sure everybody can see this. Just give me a second. I should have had this already prepared, but instead, hey, I am doing my thing. Can you guys go around that way? So anyway, yeah, I want to let me. I should probably just pause this for a second, huh? Because my family is coming in really loud. All right, so I let me see. Can you guys see this? Share the screen. Go to this tab and hey guys, I am live. I am actually live, so unless you want to be on here, okay. All right, sorry about the dysfunction here. All right, so you guys can see the thumbnail. It says, is feminine equal to makeup and luxury? All right, so I have a surprise for you. Let's go ahead and let me see. Of course, my husband's just going to walk right through my live stream. He's gonna. You're on live. Okay. So sorry about that. You guys want to see a video? I have a surprise for you. Let's go ahead and play this video. I am the opinionated woman that's Black, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to harness your feminine energy. You know, part of being feminine is to say things like feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. You know, this woman who looks strikingly like me is saying some really interesting things. I just find it interesting that this feminine, let me see if I can go back to my screen here. Can you guys see? I don't want to change that because I don't know what I'm doing. Cancel that. So yeah, this opinionated woman that's Black is talking about how to become a feminine woman, and she's like a coach. So one of the things that she said was feminine energy 3 times, and I'm noticing that many of the women who are out there talking about being feminine and all this other energy, well, yeah, like they like to say it a lot: feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. Let's continue as I do a reaction to the opinionated woman that's Black video that you can't find anywhere. You see how I did that? Wasn't that feminine? Anyway, in order to be feminine, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is, let me hide my fake hair. Hold on a second. Okay, first, you must have long bundles of hair, whether it's in a wig or a weave. There's nothing wrong with that. But the only way to be feminine is if you wear your hair long. I say this because, you know, Black women are not feminine. So I want to talk about the long bundles of hair. Let me just say this. I just find it interesting that this feminine energy coach or consultant or, she's out there talking about this long hair thing. Now, the reason why I find it interesting is because, so since this is popping up in my feed now, because, I talk about all things Black women, and YouTube loves to recommend shenanigans to me. I'm seeing all this stuff on Black women and femininity. And I just noticed that they like to talk about all this stuff, but like they all look the same. I shouldn't say all, but most of them look the same. They've got a wig, they've got long bundles. Everyone looks the same. And so it sounds like in order to be feminine, or it looks like in order to be feminine, your hair has to be super long. So if it's not growing out of your hair super long, if it's not growing out of your head super long, then you must get a wig and some bundles. Everyone looks the same, especially the straight long hair thing where everybody's got the waves. So I find it interesting. In order to be feminine, you have to save feminine energy a lot, protecting your feminine energy, and you got to have long bundles of hair. Let's continue. And it must be true if a bunch of weirdos say it. So, yes, that's your first lesson. You must have long bundles of hair, and then you've got to touch it like so. And then, okay. Your second lesson in being feminine, besides saying feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy, and stroking your hair, is you must get a chemical peel. Now, look, I've done this for your benefit. I got a chemical peel about a week and a half ago, and I'm still peeling. See? I'm not sure. Can you see that? Yes.
So yeah, I just find it interesting. So I am actually all for people like taking care of their skin. I mean, I'm a big skincare kind of person myself. I just find it interesting. I think when a lot of these people are out here in these streets talking about being feminine and all this other stuff and taking care of yourself and healing, I don't even have a problem with people recommending everything. But much of what I've seen so far, it almost just seems disingenuous. Like one weekend or use I mean, like, okay, so like one week it'll be like use product X, and then like in 3 nanoseconds, use something else, and they'll swear by everything. And I'm just kind of like, part of having good health and everything, I mean, products are good. Like, I actually don't have a problem with using products, but what about water? What about sleeping right? What about exercising? What about all that stuff? Some of it's genetics. And I guess to me, it's like the only way you can be feminine is if you do all these things. Continue.
You must get a chemical peel. You must have good skin. That's the only way you can be feminine. Take heed, ladies. That's your second lesson. Okay. Sorry, I gotta tuck my fake hair back. I can't seem to keep it covered up. The third way to remain, or at least to be considered feminine, is you must talk like the way I'm talking. Okay? You have to have a soft voice. Because, well, basically, men don't like anything that's considered aggressive, and I get it. So, one of the ways that we counteract that is we talk in a voice that's not natural to us.
Now, I wanted to pause on this because most of these women that are out here talking about being feminine, I just find them to sound silly. Everyone's like whispering. I'm like, just speak in your normal voice. Now, let me just say for the record, I tend to have a deeper voice. Part of it is because when you get older, your voice gets deeper, right? I just find that how can you possibly keep up with all these things to be feminine? And I have my summation points, but it just seems so silly to me that they're like whispering. You can be feminine and stand firm in your voice. Like you don't have to like fight or be combative, but you can just speak. Just speak. Let's continue.
Instead of talking like this in a normal voice, you must talk like this. Okay? And it's kind of like when you're trying to run away from being called the angry black female. For those of you who don't know, some people will say ABF. Yeah. So it's kind of like a form of code switching. Oh, yes. Or maybe even tone policing. You know, you kind of switch up who you might really be in order to please someone else. Hold on. Let me sip from my highly expensive beverage.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So a lot of times now it's like I see people out here in these YouTube streets, everything they're talking about is it's like they're starting to get into how much everything is, and maybe not so much as putting a dollar amount on it, maybe they are, but it's more like now it's like they want to push their opulence and their luxury in people's face. And I'm torn on it because I feel like when you're this whole feminist, I'm sorry, feminism, that's not the word I want to use. Femininity and luxury. It's like you want to see it, but I don't know. I'm struggling with how it's being presented, especially when we start segueing into luxury. I, I don't know. I'm just kind of like I don't want to knock it, but I don't understand why there's this push to show like labels and I don't know. It's not quite something about it is not passing the smell test. I think it's definitely not inclusive. And most of the people that you see having these discussions, at least that I've seen so far, that's come across my YouTube here, is they all look the same. They all look the same. I'm like, oh my goodness. Let's continue. Because this opinionated woman, that's black person, she's sipping a really expensive beverage. I thought that was quite interesting. She looks like me.
Okay. So, yes, you have to talk like the way I'm talking. You must speak softly. You basically don't want to be heard. Okay? Please do not be that opinionated. It's not going to go over well. Hold on. Let me stroke my long bundle. you my fourth. Oh, I gotta tuck my fake hair back again. That cannot be seen. Okay, I'm back. Okay, back to talking about being feminine. Hold on a second. I forgot. Feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. Okay, I'm back on track. Okay, so the next thing, I think it's the fourth thing. I forget how many points I gave. In order to be feminine, what you have to do is make sure you show up in a face full of makeup. Unfortunately, I created the major faux pas. I created this faux pas because I got on here and I didn't have a face full of makeup. But I conveniently had, oh, look at that, NARS lip gloss. Hold on. Let me show you. This is the quick and easy look you can get.
Okay, now see, she's just doing too much. Where I think this is really important is that most of the people is like you get to choose how you want to present yourself, right? And so I feel like I'm straddling the fence, right? Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to present your best self, but I feel like what happens is everyone is starting to look the same, and everyone is showing the smoking mirrors. Like in reality, people don't look like this every day. And I'm not saying you have to look average every day, but it's like everything, the whole thing is contrived. The face, the voice, the things that are being said, feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. Say it like this: face full of makeup, make yourself small. Give me a break.
Okay, that's better. I'm sorry I didn't bring the rest of my makeup. I should have done this. You know what? I should just do a tutorial, right? Would you like to see a tutorial? Okay.
Everybody's
Anyways,
got
I'm
a
sorry.
tutorial.
Feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. I've got to say that 3 times to remind myself to be feminine. Wait a second. There might have been a little bit of my real voice that came out. I got to remember to talk softly. Talk softly. Bat my eyes. Okay, I just bat my eyes. I said feminine energy like 3 times. Okay, I think I'm back into my space and I'm talking softly because I wouldn't want to be too loud or too heard. Tuck my fake hair back up in here. I gotta stroke my hair, plait my hair. Okay. Oh, where are my shoes and my purses? Oh, okay. You see this? It's name brand. Okay.
Okay, I think you guys see where this video is going, right? So now everyone has to show you all of their labels and brands, and I don't know, it's just kind of corny to me. That's so corny, but it's kind of like, do you want to show it? Do we need to show that everything's possible? But I kind of feel like, well, what about the woman who doesn't have now the Louis Vuitton or whatever, right? But she can still be stylish and she can be feminine. You don't have to have these labels. And that's not to say that we shouldn't talk about labels, I guess, but I just kind of feel like, I don't know, it just seems so empty, so vapid. I don't know. I struggle with that. Man, everybody is messing with me today. I mean, I feel like my whole family is like trolling me. Everyone's coming in loud. I only needed like 10 or 15 minutes. My husband's walking through the live stream. My sister is texting me about my mom and some hair products, which is kind of like ironic since we're talking about this. Let's continue.
All right. Sorry, it was just too aggressive. Too. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sorry. Okay. Now I'm extreme.
Okay, so basically, what the opinionated woman that's black is saying here is that, you know, in order to be considered feminine in a space, you can't even just look regular, right? Like the person, when people are out here putting makeup on, they don't even look anything like themselves. You can't be yourself to be feminine. In order to be feminine, you must talk differently. You have to say some different kind of stuff. When you put your makeup on, it can't you can't look like yourself. And you can't be normal. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't strive to be better than average, whatever that means, but everything's got to be in the extremes. And now women are out here in these streets looking like full on clowns. I'm like, I don't even know who you are because that is not what you look like when you first started out in your tutorial anyway. It's just too much. Too much.
There you go. Next, I will probably put out a video on what it really means to be living the life of luxury. Part of living luxury is to be feminine. And remember, if you forget how to be feminine, all you have to do is say feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. Make sure your face is full of makeup, long bundles, okay? Talk softly. And remember, feminine energy is your friend. Bye.
All right. So I just think, oh, let me go back to my situation here. Go back to I look at this and I'm like, I think right now with Black women, they are struggling with identity, right? Like, what does it mean to be feminine? And I think much of it is because many of the women out here in these streets have listened to so many people poison them for so long. So now there's this pendulum, is that I say that? Pendulum shift into something extreme. So it's kind of like, I feel like oftentimes Black women are not, or at least the ones that I'm seeing represented here, they're not, I don't feel like they're being authentic. Now, I can't speak to their minds, right? But it doesn't give me authenticity. It gives me like you're pandering, much of it just in order to find a mate. But what's going to happen once you find that mate, right? Like you got to keep up with that because that's what they were attracted to. Um, Look, most of the men that I know, the strong men that I know, they have women who are feminine, but they don't talk like this. And they're not wearing tons of makeup all the time. They have very feminine women who have thoughts. Are they trying to be combative or anything? No, because you're a team. You're a team, right? And it goes both ways. But I feel like what's going on out there is a lot of pandering and trying to be the next. I don't even know if I'm going to say pick me. There's a lot going on. So anyway, I feel like Black women are struggling with their femininity. So they've got all these women out there trying to coach them on how to be feminine. But what they're coaching is the exterior stuff. I think being feminine is a mindset. It is a mindset. It's not lipstick and luxury. Being feminine is very intangible. It's one of those you can't touch it. But being feminine is when you're allowed to voice your opinion, but then you also have the opportunity to be vulnerable, right? It's a you don't have to pander, right? You don't have to pander. Now, look, I got on this live. My hair is not done. It hasn't. It's usually never done. I just show up, okay? Because I feel like I should be able to come as myself. As you can see, my lip color is still on when I was trying to mimic what the opinionated woman that's Black was doing in that video that looks suspiciously like me. I just feel like when we're talking about femininity, I get it. It's not aggressive. And I understand that. I think what people are pushing is it's like you just have to relax. I'm like, well, a lot of people don't really have the ability to just relax in their femininity, right? But I feel like much of what's being put out there is a bunch of smoking mirrors. That's what it is. The women have got you out here caked on with makeup. You got bundles and wigs. You're talking in voices that don't even sound like it's not even who you are. And now you've got to do all this extra. Look, if you like wearing nice clothes, I don't knock it. There were times when I was putting on all the cute little clothes. Now I'm in like a cute little jogger situation. Don't you guys want to see it? And I mean, I think I'm cute. It's cute. It's got the matching. Oh gosh, can you see me back here? It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point I'm making is this femininity thing is kind of getting silly to me. So look, if you have opinions, let me know. You can be mad. But what I don't think is we should be pushing that narrative. If you want to talk about makeup, talk about makeup. But I don't think makeup and lipstick and drinking expensive drinks and buying expensive things equate to femininity. Femininity is more of a mindset per se, right? You don't have to take on all the problems, especially if you're in a relationship. You're a team. And yes, most people, I asked my husband, I'm like, what do you think of femininity? What do you think it means? I wrote down a couple of things. This is what he said. Now, he is like a man of few words, by the way. Soft, sweet. I guess I'm not always the sweetest. It depends. He said mannerisms. I'm like, what do you mean? He said not aggressive. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, don't make me be the subject of your life. So I'm like, well, what do you think? I said, what do you think about when women talk like this? He's like, what did he say? He said, it makes you sound stupid, which was why it was in one of the videos. Anyway, his whole thing is like, I said, well, do you have to have long hair? He's like, you can't be butch or bald. I don't think long hair is his thing. Like as far as like that's not a requirement. I think he would love it. He would probably love for me to grow my hair longer. But I think the biggest thing is Black women and their relationship with being feminine is all kinds of messed up. They've been listening to the wrong dingalings tell them some things all this time, and more so it's a mindset. It's like, look, you don't have to hard charge everything all the time, especially if you're in a relationship with somebody. Um, Maybe relax a little bit, right? Like you don't have to be so all the time. You don't have to be on 10. But what it doesn't mean is putting on a ton of makeup and buying a whole bunch of luxurious things, because there's a lot of women out here hard charging it and they still wear a lot of makeup and they're buying all the luxury things. And they may not be giving off feminine energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. All right. All right. So look, it's time for me to roll up out this camp. Um, I'm not going to really put up this whole fair use slide because I know who that opinionated woman that's Black is. She looks eerily like me. But what I will say is, hey, have a good one. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, like whatever it is. Okay, you know you like it. Share it with somebody. Watch all my videos. Leave a comment. All right.